Um, so yeah, moving on to the CDs. I've got a couple, well, more than a couple, a load, but it's three different, well, three or four different reissue programs this year. Oh shit, damage to the spine on this one. I really should keep my CDs in better condition. But yeah. First off, Emmylou Harris, Wrecking Ball. This come out earlier this year, well, actually around April 2014. Never really. I mean, I like her stuff with Graham Parsons. I have both the albums they did together. I don't have the sort of rarities one, which was posthumously released. Um, but I never actually got into her solo stuff. And I reviewed this from my website, Figure Eight, www.figure8magazine.co.uk, for those who haven't been on there. Um, this album really blew me away, and I started to discover a bit more of her music. Um, best described is sort of this album is best described as sort of ambient country music. Daniel Lanois, who produced people like U2 and Peter Gabriel, was on there. Really, really good stuff. Um, it just goes to show that sort of the whole idea of writing your own material is overrated, because Emmylou Harris, she's really good at sort of doing other people's songs her way. I mean, she does Steve Earle's Goodbye, which is, I mean, Steve Earle's version is brilliant, and she really does it justice, even if the production's a bit dated. I don't, May This Be Love, which was originally done by Jimi Hendrix. I'm trying to think of, oh yeah, and Wrecking Ball, Neil Young's song Wrecking Ball. Brilliant album, totally recommend it. And the bonus disc on here is actually quite good. There's some really good outtakes. I mean, there's a version of Daniel Lanois' Still Water, which really should have been on the album. And there's a really good Richard Thompson cover. Yeah, how will I be How will I ever be simple again? So another sort of album which I actually got this in the post today. I got this in the post this morning. Yeah, Pixies 25. Really wanted to get this on vinyl, but I bought this thinking that this was the only way you get the original album with it. The original album, but the vinyl copy has it in tucked between the gatefold. But they wouldn't let me cancel, so I got this through. So I'm keeping it. Um, the demos are really interesting. Really worth a listen. If they're not necessarily better than the finished versions. Um, I don't actually mind Gilnor's production. He's known for being a bit heavy-handed, but his stuff with the Pixies, he nails it really. The third disc with the Peel sessions and the B sides, most of that's been released before, so the main draw is the second disc. And onto the last two sets of CDs. So one band that I'm not crazy about, but I did manage to sort of get all of them, and I've ordered one of them on DVD, one of the albums on vinyl because they've been released too. The Auteurs. I haven't got all of them, but I've got New Wave, Bad and Mine Off. These were sort of promotional items. Then I went out and bought After Murder Park and How I Learned to Love the Boot Boys. Actually, these are the ones I really like. Not so keen on the earlier stuff. I haven't got Now I Am a Cowboy. uh, Luke Haynes is a brilliant songwriter. Even if I don't like everything he does. Um, but After Murder Park is one of those sort of great lost albums of the 90s. It sounds a bit like a grumpier version of the Beatles, or maybe if the Beatles stopped making songs about peace and love and decided to do songs about infanticide and in sort of vignettes about sort of suburban misery. Very underrated. Um, and last but not least, these reissues weren't particularly covered much. I got these as promotional freebies from our website, and I reviewed them. But they have been out of print for a long time, and these three albums really don't deserve it. And this is Samande, who were a Brixton-based funk group collective. More like there's nine. Well, they're an 8-piece. Their first album, self-titled album, which has The Message, Bra, and what was it? Rickshaw. Really good tracks, and this is the strongest of the three. Second time around, and another really good album they done, Promise Heights, which has Brothers on the Slide on there, which is probably one of the best sort of Curtis Mayfield pastiches ever done. Well, anyone's ever tried to attempt. Very funky, and you know they're more or less. There's nothing new on these. These aren't really sort of out of the world reissues. It's more or less previously released stuff, but it's back in print. And I like to say a big thanks for Cherry Red for actually putting these back in print, because they're really underrated records. So yeah, that's about it. That's about all the sort of reissues that I wanted to talk about. So to everyone in the VC, have a happy new year, and hope to be showing more records off in 2015. Goodbye.